Right. You're suddenly
now you're no longer a true Christian. So, but anyway, that was kind of snotty, but we'll. Chuck's on the line. How you doing, Chuck?
Just fine. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little echo.
Yeah, you're very knowledgeable about the Bible and all, and one thing that I've always wondered about is one of the commandments, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Number one.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that just that statement, just that God would say that, he's admitting that there are other gods.
Oh yeah.
Him. And so,
seems like
if somebody can believe in other gods, and so if there are other gods, then since Jesus was around back during the Roman days, and I think did the Romans believe in all of the mythological gods? You know, like
The Romans had their pantheon.
yeah. Jupiter.
Okay.
And actually, Christians were the ones who were first called atheists by the Romans, because the Christians didn't believe in the Roman gods.
Right.
Who was this?
The Christians didn't believe in the Roman gods, so the Roman gods called the Christians atheists.
Or the Romans called the Christians.
The Romans,
atheists.
not the Roman gods, you're right. The Romans called the Christian atheists because they didn't believe in their God.
Oh, okay.
And this one famous Christian, I think it's Athenagoras, but I'm not positive. Basically, he says, no, we're not atheists. We believe in a God. It's these Greeks who are atheists because their philosophical positions have come out to say there are no gods. We still at least believe in a God. And you know what? Maybe there's a way for us to coexist with our one true God and your pantheon. Maybe you've got it a little bit wrong. And then Christianity ends up being adopted in as the official Roman religion.
Boy, that was a mistake.
And then you've got the Vatican. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, God is saying with these 10 commandments, or with that commandment, that he's admitting that he is not the only God. You know, and so there. I personally would like to see this Greek mythology, all of those gods, come back. You know, I mean, if these people have got to have a God. Well, these people, they had a God for everything.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and theirs were certainly more entertaining. I mean,
They were
a soap opera.
They were fun gods.
Yeah.
They weren't going to bust your ass,
I've said before
for not believing.
I've said before that the polytheism systems make a lot more sense, because what happened essentially in the way that religions kind of progress and grow up is you start with kind of animism and spiritualism, and then you develop a whole bunch of gods, and you get this pantheon. And then what you do is you start mushing them together. And so when you get to the monotheistic religions, which I don't know that Christianity really qualifies when you start talking about the Trinity, although that was invented 300 years after the events anyway. When you get to monotheism, you've got this mushing of all these aspects of different gods, each of whom was supreme in their own bailiwick, but now you've got it all clumped into one, which means that this one God must necessarily be conflicted and self-contradictory. And I think that that's why what we see in the descriptions of the Old Testament God, Yahweh, he's very schizophrenic. And if you actually go back on the website and dig through the archive, look for a video from this past year or so where Tracy Harris is the co-host. There's a series of 2 or 3 where she took a look through the Old Testament pantheon, or Old Testament gods, and talked about where they borrowed those God concepts from, and what these other gods, that you shall have no other gods before me, could be. Because in Genesis you have words like Elohim, which is plural for gods, and there's a strong contention that it's not Yahweh, it's Yahweh of the Elohim, or Jehovah of the Elohim, which is one of the many, which is where the Mormons have gone with this and said that, yes, Yahweh was one of the Elohim. These are these gods. They live on another planet, in another galaxy, in another universe or reality. And Yahweh came down and seeded this one. And when you die, as long as you're a good Mormon, you'll get a reality universe of your own
And
to
you'll
seed.
be part
and
of
you'll
the
be a god.
Elohim. Yeah.
And you'll be one of the Elohim type things. I don't know.
They always give you a reward after death. You know,
Yeah.
You will believe, in life.
Yeah, it has to be after death.
And, I don't think that any of the Greek gods, they didn't promise anything after death, did they? I don't remember.
You all pretty much went to the same place,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really pleasant.
And it was the same way for Judaism early on, too. Although Judaism, as Tracy talks about it, was very henotheistic, and it stole stuff blatantly from other religions. But yeah, Sheol, and actually we talked about this in the Hell lecture that I did a couple months ago. It was where everybody went when you died, and it's why in the Old Testament when somebody dies it says they slept with their fathers. It's why Judaism today even has very little to say about the afterlife. It's kind of a personal thing among Jews. You're supposed to live by the commandments, do your mitzvah, and when you're dead, that's between you and God. What happens to you, if anything? So yeah, Christianity invented not only this extremist view. Well, they borrowed some of it from Zoroastrianism.
They took the idea of the carrot and the stick to really extreme lands.
And I don't want to blame them entirely because Zoroastrianism and Mithraism, those things included it as well.
Well, I have, from what I know about the Greek mythology, and for any listeners who are confused about a god, I have got the god for you.
Great. What is it?
It's Apollo. It's the son of Zeus. He is the sun god.
Yep.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is it's very simple. If you need a god now while you're trying to make up your mind, this is the perfect god because with the sun we have everything. Without the sun we have nothing.
But I'll argue with you. I'll say Prometheus.
And that's S-U-N and not S-O-N, although I'm sure some Christian will adopt it.
I'll say Prometheus.
Comes up every morning, yes.
Because Prometheus gave us fire, and as a result, he suffered a punishment from the gods being chained to the top of a mountain, having his liver torn out every day. Now that's a sacrifice.
Yeah. At least when Prometheus died for our sins, he stayed dead.
That's right.
Or did he? I don't know.
No, he didn't stay dead. He got rescued. He got rescued.
All right. Then I'm going to stick with Elvis then, because when Prometheus and Jesus both died, it was like a weekend vacation thing.
Well, this is a good one too.
But I'll go with Apollo because that's just another Ra.
Get this. In India, they have soap operas concerning the gods, the Hindu pantheon.
Ooh.
And many viewers actually believe that the actors are the gods that they're playing. And so, in some cases, actors from these shows have run for political office and done pretty well. Because all the viewers say, oh, Shiva's running for political office. Let's vote for him.
Yeah, well, I guess we kind of have that a little bit in this country too. We had an actor, Ronald Reagan, is president.
Yes.
Got the governor out in California right now. We're not that far off from it.
I'm about out of time, Chuck. I got to let you go. There's another couple calls to get to, hopefully real quick. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.